Touchdown. 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 Touchdown.
Hello again, world. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Music and Marriage. My name is Nikita. I am your host, and this is my co-host.
I'm Orville Xpressionz. Give thanks again for joining us on another episode of the best podcast, worldwide.
Manifestation.
Yeah. Today, we have a very special guest scene. One of the greatest dancers that I've ever seen, actually, in our genre of music, dancehall music, reggae music scene. I've had the privilege to see him perform on stages all over the Caribbean, in Jamaica, and I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen you in Europe before, Orville. But basically, we have one of the greatest dancers of our time, Orville Expressionz. Saying, Orville.
Thank you for joining us.
Blessed love, and thanks for having me,
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure.
Respect.
It's a pleasure, my brother. We really appreciate you coming and gracing our, podcast with your presence.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It's an honor. See? Yeah, so basically, first and foremost, I want to give you the floor for even 2 minutes to just basically talk about your works and, to let the people know who you really are,
Yeah. One of the things that I always tell people is that I never chose dance. I feel like dance, it chose me.
See?
You know what I mean? So what I do is I just roll with it, because I always tell people the thing that you think about last at night, and if it's wake you up in the morning, that's what you should be doing. As long as it's within the law, you know what I mean? So that's what I did where dancing is concerned. There were other talents, but what I do is I focus on dance, and then I bring in the other talents as that guiding factor and that supporting factor.
See.
So from a very early stage, I realized that this is what I wanted to do, because I grew up as a shy individual, but dance allowed me to express myself, and because I could express myself without words, through movements, and I see the joy where it bring people.
Yeah.
Like I focus on that,
See.
And I was doing a whole heap of things in the streets as a dancer in the street, and then I decided that, well, somebody said to me, and this was years ago, if you're ever going to become the best or at the highest at your level, you're going to have to find some way for you go back to school, and get some kind of formal education on it, because everything was natural talent.
Yeah.
And it was in 1998, as a big man, I decided, say, boy, I forgot to do the college thing, because I want to get some form of accreditation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I did Exed Community College.
See.
And it was a kind of barter system where I never have the money, but I tell them, say, I brought dancehall to Exed Community College. You know what I mean? So I said to them, and it was a thin line for them to even accept it, because Exed is a Methodist institution.
See.
So we
both actually went to Excelsior as well. I went to the high school, and she was
the primary
primary school.
Yeah, man. And I fell in love with the institution. it's just divine intervention for me, because the reason why I fall in love with the institution is the fact that it is one of the institutions, I mean, in Jamaica, that you can matriculate from pre-primary straight through to college. You know,
Yes,
from the
yes,
drop of the pre-primary,
Yeah.
you can go through to college. And
Yes.
we need institutions like that in Jamaica, where you can just matriculate from. Is a well-rounded institution.
Yeah, man.
So I went to Exed, and we were the guinea pig set in 1998 with a certificate program. And as we went along, while we're in the program, I'm trying to develop the program to a diploma program, then an associate degree. And I stayed there and did all of them, and then I was employed as a dance teacher. And I stayed there for a number of years after that, and write the program. But then we got into some thing where they didn't want to call the program a dancehall program.
Right.
Because of what the institution
stigma.
stands for.
Yeah.
So
The
I kind
stigma
of
attached to the word
Yeah.
dancehall.
so I leave the institution, and I start Expressive Moves, which is dance expressions, and I was the person where use female dancers, because the females in my group, the only thing they had to promise me, because they've been dancing with me from, like Stacey and Shelly has been with me from, because I used to teach them at Excel.
See.
And the only thing they had to promise me is to get them associate degree before we go out into the world. And that is because of the stigma that is associated with dance. I mean, someone wanted to go out there educated, so when people see one of them, don't just feel like, say, it's a jump and split and head tap thing.
Yeah.
You know, and since then, we've literally been, me and Shelly sit down the other day and I check. I've been to 35 countries,
See that?
and she has completed 34.
See that?
And you know, we now count
See.
cities, we're talking about countries.
Countries.
'Cause
Yes.
some of them countries, they would do like all 5 cities in the one country,
See.
you know.
Nice.
I think I've seen clips of if I'm not mistaken, of you guys in Russia.
Yeah, man, that's
Doing
where we
works.
started. I started in Russia in 2012.
See
That's
that?
where we kick it off, and then we started doing Europe. You know, we took a different kind of, because we were like the second set of dancers that started touring. The first set was like 2 youths that I know of that started same place in Russia in 2010.
So Russia is kind of like a
It was
a mecca for the dancehall vibration.
because the youth them was
Wow,
into
interesting.
the dance aspect of it.
Yeah,
They loved the music, but they wanted to learn about the dance.
interesting.
So when we got to Russia, now we started. What kept me on tour and kept me moving is the fact that I brought the whole culture, the whole cultural expression to dance. We make them understand things from the traditional folk forms, and that is what got them interested in the whole evolution of the
See.
Jamaican music and dance. So when I tour, that is what I take with me around the world. So them don't just see it as something where you sit on
You
YouTube
see
and feel like
somebody had done.
you can just do it. Yeah,
No.
but you have to
It's
understand the
an
whole.
institution behind.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, respect, man. That's why me have to give that introduction there,
Yeah,
because
man.
me know the works. I'm familiar with the works.
Yes, brother.
You know, so I have to make sure say we give you the proper due.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Respect.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this basically, as you know, Music and Marriage is a podcast that we try to mix the music with sort of like personal vibrations within family life
Yeah.
and family structure. See, and so sometimes, not sometimes, all the times we ask ourselves questions.
Yeah.
See, and today's topic will you know.
If your spouse is disabled, do
Mhm.
you cheat?
All right,
So it's not
yeah.
not necessarily just cheating on a whole,
Mm.
but just even if it's an emotional attachment with someone else, you know, in
Okay.
any form of cheating. So I mean, for me, honestly,
Mhm.
No, go ahead, guys. You might be surprised with my response to this question as well. You know, so go
Mm.
ahead.
okay,
Don't be shy.
honestly, it's a 50-50. It depends. It depends on how long I've been with the person, and you know, the level of commitment I have to that person, because you know, not everyone that enters in a marriage have a whole lot of commitment in the beginning.
Yeah.
So it takes time for that to grow. But for the amount of years, I don't know if you know, but we've been together 19 years. It's coming October, I think, or September.
Okay.
So we've been through a lot. So if he's disabled, would I cheat?
disabled don't necessarily mean that sexually we can't active. So you have to kind of clear up
Yeah,
that.
but if you're like, if your legs aren't working or something like
The
that.
legs might not be working in about.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna need you to move.
Okay.
You ain't gonna be able to move. Like, so what's the purpose? Like, I don't know. It's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Let me hear what Orville have to say about that
Uh,
before
we
me
have-
answer.
Yeah, we have a couple of variables. You
Yeah.
know, if I am going to be, if I'm going to be really frank about a situation like that,
Yeah.
the length of time you're with the person as well. You know, Orville 20 years ago, and in girlfriend get disabled or him wife get disabled, then I can almost tell you something no more that cheat.
Yeah.
Like I know say that would happen because
It's like a
your
natural.
your testosterone driven as well, and
Yeah.
you know me I say so if it's a physical thing where she's not able to give me sex, then there's an issue.
To please
And
her
if-
a certain way, or you will be pleased.
Right. And if because of the she has become reclusive, and we can't share any kind of real time because it's something that rests on our mind and we can't get to reason out certain things, then you might, if it is not in terms of physical thing with somebody outside, it might be an emotional attachment to somebody else.
Yeah.
So there are a couple variables that is involved. How you get into a relationship. Was it something that because you were forced into it? Because sometimes we're forced into marriage and we don't even realize it.
Yeah,
You know?
true.
But you're coming from a background where your parents say, what you do? You see it with this young lady for
You have to.
but
Yeah.
you were not physically
Ready.
and mentally ready
Ready.
to step into that kind
True.
of commitment.
True.
So there are a couple of things. But if two people were got into this amicably and then decide to rate, when you get to a certain stage, I mean, you would have built a certain level of energy between each other where when something like this happens now, you know, say, there is something to bounce back from. There is something that can keep the relationship running. You know, but we have to be practical.
Yeah.
The first thing is that we have to tell ourselves the truth. That is why me keep telling people, say, the first person you have to know in any relationship is you.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have to know you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That is
honestly, how I feel about the situation, I feel like,
Yeah,
as I
that's
said,
what
there are
we're-
variables.
Yeah, man.
Seeing, first and foremost, what kind of disability it is. Is it
Could
is
be
it
paralysis. It could be.
is it a disability that
Just-
that doesn't allow you to perform sexually, and then because of not being able to perform sexually, then
That gives a reason.
that gives you a reason to say, okay, I'm gonna go outside.
Maybe.
Well, if you're speaking from that point of view, then
Yeah, I would say.
I would
I would
say-
say physical. I would say physical.
I would say we would have to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I would have to be frank with you and say, all right then, Nikita, you know, I'm disabled and I know that you need, you know, to be pleasured in a certain way. And, you know, to be frank, it a gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
You see me, I say, but at the same time, we gonna have to understand because, you know, physical needs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then again, within myself, I got probably I think say, well, you know, you have physical needs, but I feel like we had a deeper connection than just the physical. And we feel like if we have this deeper connection than the physical, then why should you think about going outside for something that isn't that something that is tangible, something that is not deeper than, you know, what we have mentally? I would question that. That would be the question for me, from me to you.
And you know, all right. If it's love, because I mean, physical needs is important as well. And if it's seriously love, you know that she could step outside for physical gratification, and it don't shake her love within
That
the
is true.
relationship.
It's also
That is
true.
That's also a fact. You know.
That
Yeah,
is
but
true.
that's something we are gonna hurt.
Yeah, man.
You understand
Yeah.
what I say? and if you know so that are gonna hurt me, even though I understand that me in another position, me can't please you.
Yeah.
Why would you step out and do something like that? Why you can't say to yourself, all right then, me go hold it.
Because On a man, because on a man, all when no good and strong and everything alright, on still can't hold it.
No, but
So
I'm saying-
on expect she to hold it when you
No,
can't
but
do
I'm
you
saying
could do.
is, if we
Think
are on
about
the-
it.
If we are on this level, because I would expect you to
Yeah.
ask me the same question if you were in the position. See? And I would have to think, no, if I'm a good person, not even not say that, because you know, as we said, certain decisions, sometimes things happen and you have to make decisions. See? But if we have this deep connection, then it's a difficult for me.
Yeah.
I have to think about it. I have to think about whether or not I really need that physical pleasure
Yeah.
when we already have this surrounding me. You know, this mental joy, then this spiritual joy
Yeah.
that we have in this house. You know, why would I need to step outside to go get some physical pleasure? Then I know so that I will hurt you mentally when I come back in.
Because I just saw one of mine say like it. I mean, even on the regular, as I was just saying just a while ago, even when you guys are healthy and everything is good and there's no physical issues between both parties, men still cheat, women still cheat. Even when there's undying love and there's so much respect, they still do it, not thinking. So when a person is physically can't be able to please their partner, yeah, you're gonna expect that, because
Yeah.
if a healthy human does it, why someone disabled is not gonna feel like, okay, well, I have needs, so I'm just gonna go out there and get my needs met because it's not being met at home.
And naturally, alright. For me, naturally, men are driven differently. Seeing we just feel like men design for art.
On
You
the
said
design,
cheat.
forget problems.
When
On
you
the
say cheat,
design,
when you say
yeah.
cheat, but one is expectation. 'Cause we can go around the globe with this thing,
Yeah.
You know, you have certain religions or certain way where allow a man to have three or
Multiple
four
wives.
wives and really, because
There's
when you
something
really
we talk
look,
about and disagree about all the time
Yeah,
on
man.
this podcast.
but when we look at the nature of man, when we really look at the nature of man, it is what happens. It is truly what happens. Is it ever going to be the thing when me put forward? There are certain things that we are forced as men to understand with women. See?
Yeah,
And this is my view.
yeah.
There are certain things we are forced. When a woman get to menopause, her body go through certain things naturally where you have to deal with it. And if you've been with her, no matter how much years you've been with her, you have to understand that her body is going through this physically. There is when she's on her period, you have to understand that she got through certain things, and you have to understand that. And if you behave in any kind of unreasonable way, you're going to know about it, and you should understand. Why is it that a woman wouldn't understand that naturally a man body go through certain things when feel like in need for move out? No,
You
I mean
are-
pre the levels, you know.
Well, on there, you got in a something different now. Well, on there. Continue.
Is it
Continue.
possible that there's a science to that, that you cannot break that kind of science? Think about it.
It's a question, you know?
Yeah, it's a question, you know.
We'd love your answer.
Is it?
Say the question
should
again,
you-
guys.
should
Mama
you
kinda
understand
wasted,
that
kinda
men? Should you understand that men have certain physical needs where if you cannot live up to it, it might have to step out to another woman, and it doesn't shake the groundation of the love that you have.
No, I'm not know about that, Because once you go, you have to go.
You have to go.
Yeah. Especially while during marriage. Like for me, before marriage, like when we were dating, relationship, just simple like that. Whatever. Things happen. But once we're married and we make that commitment to each other,
Yeah.
I'm not depend on that. Once you go, you go.
Because
So is the marriage that is what changes everything. That's
it's the sacredness of marriage that you say.
Yeah,
once
but
it
I
becomes-
can't love you the same. I can't look at you the same if I know that you're out here doing otherwise. You get what I'm saying? Like if you have a girl out here or there and you're doing other things, like I can't feel comfortable knowing that you're for me.
All right. For me, me not talk about just a frivolous thing where in God then him have 3, 4, 5 women. I talk about the fact that these are some of the things we don't take into consideration.
So we
A woman, yeah man, we're gonna reason it out, man. A woman and a whole heap of women will feel that if I am having sex with my husband, if I am cooking his food, then this is a taken care of man. No. The man feel like him want more conversation. The man feel like when him have an idea about something, you are not the person who listens enough or encourages this thing. And you
But
get what I'm
that's where
saying?
communication comes in.
Right. No.
So
Even
because
when-
there's lack of communication, that does not give you the right to say, okay, well, you know, I don't have certain things here, so let me go find it out there. No. As a man, if you know that there's lack of communication, you sit down with your woman and you say, listen to me, babes, or whatever you call her. Me not feel this, or me not get enough of this, or me not get enough of that. So here what? This is what we need to do to prevent this from happening. That is the right way to do it.
This is true on books. This is not true
No,
in real
because
life.
on the edge just hard.
No.
On the edge just hard, and I just feel like someone want the things thrown away.
one of the biggest mistakes
Man, so
is
this
that
is true
is
in
where women
books.
no, it's true in books, but it's not in reality. There are certain things you cannot bring to a woman because
None.
she's gonna say, so
No.
me not doing enough.
But that's where the conversation continues. You explain to her, say, listen to me, it's not that you're not doing enough, it's just that I want it this way. Or
Yeah.
I prefer it that way. You get what I'm saying?
And it's not every woman you're alright. When there's a
So-
lack of communication also means that we are not able to communicate at all, you know. So even me bring certain things to you, no matter which direction I take it from, there is going to be a disagreement.
So what you're trying to say is, being that you come to her and she's still not understanding what your needs need to be, met, like what needs you have that needs to be met, you're just gonna say, all right, then I'm gonna go outside and find somebody else.
It's never like that.
So how one of
No, what you're doing is simplifying it the way they make it look bad. But it's never like that. the
Well,
thing
there.
is, conversations start with somebody out the road and then you find out say, you don't have certain things in common. It was never something planned.
Yeah, but you know, if you sit down and a lollygag with a girl out the road, no,
Why?
you have your woman in your yard, you got your yard to talk to her if you want to talk.
Just so?
But
Yeah.
the communication.
So no
difficult.
matter what is happening at home, I'm supposed to just
That communicate,
Com-
you have to build that
Confirm.
communication.
And
You
if I
have
am
to
not
build it.
able to?
And if you're not able to build it, then you have to move on because communication is a key component in a relationship.
Yes.
And if that is not being met one way or another, then you have to just keep it pushing because no matter
Alright.
what you do, you're still not going to get through to that person.
Are you aware that some people are absolutely not compatible?
Yes.
And try to be compatible
Yes.
over a number of years.
Yes.
What happens in a relationship like that?
They get screwed. They're always by themselves, the woman, the man
Right.
always cheating.
So if there's non-compatibility and a man say, all right, we do the first 4 years of the relationship and him say, you know something, in a film head, me not feel like it will work. Or vice versa. She said the same thing, me not feel like. Boom, the next day she come in and say, you know something, just do a pregnancy test or pregnant. No, there's a different reason to stay. Because she's not pregnant.
But I went picking
So-
that old man since
so-
when? Because me no know of it. Picking that
What
old
you
man again.
mean?
Picking that
What
one-
you mean?
Me no know of much man
Alright.
we say them a stay because of
No.
Staying
No.
and being faithful in the relationship is
Whole heap of man stay
is-
because of that.
Really?
is
Whole
a
heap of
totally
man.
different
That is
thing.
news to me.
Because a man will
Yeah,
stay
man.
in a relationship because of the child, but it maybe he won't be. There's a possibility
He
that
won't
he
be
still
physically
won't be.
there with her. He's
Yeah.
there
Right.
for the child.
Right.
But that doesn't make any sense. Just be a good father to your child and,
And
your
then-
co-parent.
Right, but there are
Because that
certain-
right there, you're dragging her
But
into
then
something
there is still
that...
something that
Yeah.
lingers inside of you for that person will have your child now.
Yes, sir, brother, you have,
You understand
to,
what
you
I'm
have to
saying?
make up your
Fam.
mind whether you want,
So it's
what
not,
you
but
want.
what the man has said is that it's a process. It's not just
Ye-
it's not just this
Yeah, man.
one and done
Yeah, man.
or this and that. It's a
Alright.
process of building that trust and understanding and that communication over time in order to have
Yeah.
that stable foundation to build the relationship on.
Well,
And things are going to
hold on
happen
there.
between
Hold
that
on,
time.
everything the
then.
problem is uno.
Yeah, man.
Okay, then. So if
Hold
the
on.
prob-
All right.
We not deny that we
Women-
don't do the things them we're not
Women
supposed to.
are emotional, men are physical. We know this. See? You cannot develop to the next level without a good woman in your life.
True.
Emphasis on good.
Good.
Because some woman just really
Toxic.
Yes.
Toxic.
So we have to look out. All right, a young youth will grow up in a home where mother and father together live a very good life. Let's say for argument's sake, Christian home, and then believe in a certain things. Girl get pregnant, feel father say you have to go do the right thing. You have to get married. It's a generational thing when we get married to this toxic woman. It is now marriage an institution. You know, say him would have prefer to hide and cheat rather than walk out of that relationship.
But that's not, for me, that's not
No.
being
if he's being good to her,
Okay.
we don't know.
All
He's
right, maybe
being
we'll
good
change it
to
down
her.
next time.
Child is taken care of, home is good, but him need 1 hour out of a month for go see the sister when can just sit down and hold a reason with her, even if sex come in play. That is just an added incentive. But
You
him just
know,
a
say,
hold
that
a
is a
Wow.
different perspective,
This
but we
is
never
fa-
really,
Fam.
we never really met.
Fam, this is
Yeah.
his medicine to make that relationship
Yeah.
work, you know.
Yeah,
This is his medicine, you know.
yeah.
And the only
Yeah.
and listen, this woman will find out about it and walk out on this very good thing that is happening just because she not believe in cheating, you know.
Yeah.
When it, if you look at it from a different point of view, it's not cheating. It's just him needing
No, a reality.
no pretty levels. It's just him needing this moment for
A
himself.
moment in time.
I've
just-
lived it. All right.
So hold on there. So she need a moment for herself. All of the headache and the stress that she have to go through.
But listen, you know, listen what me say now. She don't know say I do that. But
We
she's
know.
home.
Women, we 90% of the time
Okay,
we know. We can
hold on.
sense.
For argument's sake.
Children taken care of. When him come home, especially when him go get like a 1 hour there, he's the sweetest person. He's the nice.
That's why I'm going to know say something wrong because you come in here the nicest person and normally you're not so nice.
But look here,
And you
just
wouldn't
before,
accept a nice
just
sister?
No.
just before the battery run out. So him a give a month of goodness, and just before the battery run out, him run get charged and forward again.
So you-
And you don't know the difference.
Well, you better go drain out, you know. You better drain. We are talking
You know,
about full
accept
up
that.
battery and come
And
back.
that- but
Yeah,
I
when you
know-
full up your battery, you
I
better
know,
stay over there
that
and
does
stay
sound,
charged.
it sounds so
It sounds so
eloquently
what?
put.
Oh.
Fam,
Yeah.
I don't want you to. I don't.
Get him in no problems.
No. Listen, I don't want you to look at it from just your point of view. And look at it from the toxic woman point of view. Because
Okay.
where you don't know, you say, you know you.
That internalize it in.
As a,
Personalize it in.
you talk to somebody where, my mother is 85, my father just turned 85. They've been together from them 20.
Wow.
See? They got married in 1979. See?
Let's
Me and
see.
Shelley together for 20 years.
Let's see.
So me I tell you something, no. And me put up one video with her. Me wake her up this morning, 7 o'clock, and say, "Mom, me go do a workout." And it's a TikTok video me want she to do. And
Yeah, I think
she,
I saw that.
she
Yeah.
upset and
Yeah.
she said, "That's this is wait me for." So
Yeah.
me I tell you about a connection that is always there.
Yeah.
But here, I found my better half. I
Yeah.
found my better half, but
Yeah.
it was not always so.
See,
You get what I say?
it had to be built.
It had to be built, and
Yes.
I had to come to a place where me understand how
Naturally.
because I am me warrior minded. Me click easily, my chip fry easily.
Yeah.
The women I used to pull in my life was like that too,
Yeah.
and iron can't sharpen iron.
Mm-hmm.
This is the woman that when me flare up, she sit down and wait,
Yeah.
and then she come back around and say, and here she mash me up with. If me do anything for hurt her, she goes silent.
Yeah.
And me, we're ready for a quarrel, you know? But you go silent.
That's how I am.
So
once
there
you
is
do something
there's a
to-
process that builds certain thing, and this is why I say, and you know how I got Shelley in my life by taking a moment for understand me and understand who I have to get in my space. Because
Yeah.
that mash up enough relationship, you know.
Definitely.
And then we have women out there who just figure say,
Can
man
relate
and
to
dog and
that.
them always have a cheat and rear
Can
it, which
definitely
is the
relate
wrong
to
way
that.
to look at it because there are some needs, there are some emotional
You have a woman that you cannot communicate with on all levels, even just to say, boy, I'm ever bad there, you know, whatever the situation is, you know, a business deal went wrong, whatever. Like, if you don't have that communication with her, that's not the woman for you.
Right, but how do you walk out of a situation where you have kids involved or you have certain things
But it's
wrapped up
for
in-
me, I feel like it's better to have co-parenting where everyone is in a good space than having toxic dysfunction around the children growing up.
and not everybody see it that way there.
That is true.
Yeah, because
That
some
is
people will
true.
say, me not gonna make, because your life is important to you above everybody else. You know?
Mhm.
And some people will say, but then other people get the youth involved, and when the youth becomes involved now, in their mind,
Mhm.
my youth shouldn't suffer, my youth shouldn't see we go through certain things,
Mhm.
so them sacrifice themselves by staying.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
when you sacrifice yourself at the same time, you're not making yourself happy, and eventually it's gonna be a toxic relationship. It's going to be a toxic environment for that said child that you're trying to protect so much. So that's what we as parents have to think about. Like, even though we're saying, okay, we're going to stay in it for the child or the children to make sure that they have a stable upbringing, it's not really going to be a stable upbringing if they see the parents fighting every other day. They see mommy on this side, daddy on that side. There's no communication. There's no love being shown. You know, certain things like that. So you have to think about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in a relationship with someone and you see that it's not working or there's no communication or there's no way of form of communication, like this woman is just like nagging all the time, nothing way you say can't get through, like she just want to argue about everything. There are many women like that. I know a few of them in my life as well.
Yeah.
But you have to understand as men, like, we will argue, we will do it the most, but once we feel that communication coming in, it lessens the argument. Once we feel like you can't sit down and reason about certain things without us having to get into an argument or you saying something that you might not want to say, it can make the situation better on our part. Like, it ease our brain a little bit better to know, say, all right, at least we can talk to him about something, and, you know, it's not just rah, 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 and the argument and the fighting all the time.
But the fact is, we're still, all of this is good in theory, but in practical, we really have a whole heap of, we have toxic women out there where no matter what you try, and just the fact that they're
But
not
that's why you have to
compatible.
just move on. You can't sit there and subject yourself to certain type of abuse.
But we have thousands of relationships like that.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about
You
it.
know what I mean?
But
we really
there has
do.
to be a change. There have to be
Yeah.
someone that's going to get up and say, you know what, this relationship is toxic. I have to get out of it, because if not, then the next thing is going to lead to where the cheating does happen and it's a continuous thing, and the woman does find out about it. Resentment starts to set in.
Yeah.
And then she starts thinking about you and start preying you a different type of way, where she wants to hurt you, or, you know, them type of levels there. So you have to be careful. That's why I said, regardless of what's going on, like, if it now work between me and you, tell me you're going your ways.
Yeah.
Because for you to sit here and do certain things to me and push a person to that breaking point, you don't want to do that.
My biggest thing, and this is like maybe 6 years ago, when I start maintain this thing of knowing yourself.
That is
knowing
true.
yourself, because here, if you ask the average person to sit down and say, tell me about you, I'm not talking about career-wise, you as a person.
They can't.
Half the time, you know, they tell you the person they would like to be, you know, not the person they are, you know.
That's true.
It's the person they would like to be, you know. And that is where them want you come in a relationship, or them come in a relationship with you, and them never tell you about the baggage what them have to carry, because them not understand themselves, but them want you bring the world. Every woman wants a good man. But are you a good woman? Like, seriously, like, have you stopped to really? And who do I ask if you're a good woman? I can't ask you, you know. I'm going to have to find out from people in your past.
But at the same
If
risk we have
them,
to
if them
take
do
too.
that. Eh?
At the same risk we have to take too.
Yes.
And our risk
It's
sometimes
just-
bigger than food.
A risk from both.
Why you feel like it's a bigger risk?
Because one of man has problems. One have problems.
too.
Woman have problems,
man.
but one man
It's
is
a
a
equal.
different. One is a different breed.
On a man.
One man.
It's an equal vibration.
I did no. One deadly. One terrible.
It's
No.
an equal
One
vibration.
evil.
You know-
More.
you know-
No. Yeah, man.
All right, so
You know, one of the things that that I find kind of like, I don't know, but maybe just listening to you now, it makes sense, because on a previous episode we had in season 1, we were discussing about occupational hazards within a relationship. See, and I brought up that I know Orville and Shelley as
Yeah, he did.
dancers, right? And how would I feel to know that okay, this is my occupation, this is what I do, see, and my wife is over there dancing with someone else, and that is her occupation, this is what she does. How do I look at that? How do I feel about that emotionally? Do I just chalk it up to it's her occupation, and we just have to leave that
Personal.
that personal vibration at home and go work and then come back home and then it's a different vibration? Or do I have that lingering feeling within inside me, and even her looking at you and watching you dancing with another female and things like that? I mean,
strong.
how do you handle that?
She's a
brother?
strong woman.
fam, let me tell you something. When we were in the streets, when we were in the streets, I was never Shelly's dance partner, and she was never mine.
Right.
And you see, the connection is just, we were meant to be.
Different.
Believe
Exactly.
me, fam.
That's what I thought.
I
Just
say-
listening to you now, you know.
I see. I used to tell Shelly, say, dance. Miss said dance with them. I became an audience member.
Yeah.
When them used to do little daggering thing and then pick them up and swing them and
Yeah.
do some things, you'd have a youth named Howie from a group called Cadillac. But when we see him and Shelly dance, it was art. For me, it was art. And she has never given me a reason to feel
Yeah.
like it went beyond
More
that.
than that.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the magic for me.
I
and that
guess
is
it's
why
the
I was
level
so,
of trust that you guys
Yeah.
have and the
Like
confidence
at
within the
no
relationship.
point in time. So and sometimes she used to touch me and say, "See a dance partner come in there now,"
Yeah.
and then she would do the same thing and fall back and watch me and this person because of the comfort that we have as dance
Would
partners.
you do that?
Hell to the no.
Is that wicked for you,
No,
not
no,
true?
no, no.
Yeah, man.
Listen.
So, and then listen.
Boss a wine.
And then listen now, there is another female that once she walk in, me can't dance with she none at all
See?
because she know.
Yeah.
She would just look and see because of how this girl came over. You know, just a
Yeah.
different kind of.
The
knows.
vibes, the
We
energy.
can't play with women
Yeah, she
intuition
knows.
and but
She
there's
knows.
a
She
different
knows.
thing, you know.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
what I say? So is really she never giving me any reason to
Reason
feel
to-
that way,
yeah.
and I've never given her any.
Right.
You know, and we went through that phase until we became, you know, business people. Where we said we are translate this thing now from street to something formal when we start the dance studio and you know start
Yeah,
training.
because
other
you have a
people.
dance studio, right?
Yeah, man, we
I'm
have a
gonna
dance
need
studio.
my daughter. She's a dancer.
Oh yeah, man.
She's a dancer.
Yeah,
She
man.
danced for Meadowbrook High School. She's
Yeah.
a dancer for the prep school as well.
Wicked.
So
Yeah,
we
man.
definitely have to
So-
now link up.
Cause we turn it into a business. We literally, you know, say, because of how people treat dancehall, our studio is really the first dancehall dance studio. We're the first one that is dedicated to teaching dancehall.
Nice.
As and just a couple of weeks ago, a dancehall course outline that I've had before Heart from 2015 just got fully accredited.
See?
You know, so we can teach it in schools now
That's
because
great.
it has always
Yeah,
been my
Yeah, man.
my thing to formalize dancehall in such a way that uptown Jamaica, who sometimes frown on dancehall, will
Mhm.
accept it.
Yeah.
And I did that with Dance Expressions because everything we see corporate Jamaica do with dancers now, female dancers especially, and accepting dancehall in them corporate functions was written by Dance Expressions. You know, because my dancers were formally educated. Two, we had to come to a compromise with them, you know, where them wear, how it look, where them do them body.
Yeah.
Them said, Orville,
Physical
this
norms.
group, is over 60 rare, so
Yeah.
me use more choreography than freestyle where them have to wind them bodies and
Yeah.
rare. So we really chart out a thing
Yeah.
for put out there. And you know, I had it for me it's easier to work with females than when them dedicate themselves to something,
Yeah.
They're all in.
that's it.
true.
They're in.
That is true.
And Dance Expressions was built on the female energy. It started with Shelly Stacy, a sister named Amor that lives in the Bronx now, and Shireen. And believe me,
I'm from the Bronx.
you're from the Bronx?
Yeah.
Yeah, she lives in the Bronx now.
Big up the Bronx.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely big up the expression dancers. You guys are definitely doing great
Major,
work.
major.
Great
Yes.
works. And we love dance hall, so we definitely do appreciate, you know, what you guys are contributing
Yeah, man.
to the
culture.
genre, to the culture. You know,
Yeah.
we definitely
Yeah.
appreciate it. But I don't know about what them I talk about because it's still not work with me. It's still not.
The one got deep.
Yeah, too deep for me. Too
No,
deep.
no, man.
As him I go deep till him I try to twist round my head. No, me still
No,
no,
me
wonder, oh, nah, good girl. The way you read it, you really agree or disagree with the way you say.
Man got deep.
But
So-
you know, from we really, I give absolute credit to women because at 85, you know, my mother my best friend. You know. I'm a general, you know.
Yeah.
When I say general, I'm a Gina brother.
Yeah.
Me cry on her shoulder for every broken heart when me get and real. You get what I
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
And when there are reasons, and I saw what she did with my father.
Yeah.
Like she made it work. My old man, I've never seen my parents in any kind of compromising position.
Yeah.
Ever. That's the kind of
I
respect
think
them grow up with.
Yeah.
And the things what she do for my old man. And he never looked like a brother at no point in time in my life. Because I said, I wonder if my old man are Ray.
Yeah,
So when we talk about absolute respect and
Yeah.
growing at that, you know.
Yeah.
See.
But there are things where we have to respect about what women bring to the table, and women just are asked to appreciate, and this might be difficult for you. Is if him cheat,
Which I've done.
help him through it.
Listen, honestly, listen, we've been through a lot.
Listen.
We've been through that already. But you see,
Maybe
now in this
outside of the
time,
podcast,
listen
me and
to
you,
me.
I'm like, and Shelly, I forgot sit down and
This
we
is what,
tell you about
what you're looking at now
what one.
is kind of like
we've
the
been-
other side of we're barely coming through now on the other side of what happened.
Okay.
See,
Yeah,
so this is
we-
kind of like a therapy vibration for us where we kind of
Yeah,
decide
man.
like we want to, because honestly, like me tell Warrior King the other day, we were having a conversation. See, and we say we need to introduce them kind of energy to our youths, them, to our communities, to our surroundings, so that the youths them can see. Say yes, you can go through things
Brother,
with your wife,
Are the
with
biggest
your girlfriend, and still end up holding it, becoming stronger, becoming better
Yeah, man.
because of what you're going through.
We've definitely become stronger as a couple and as individuals from what
Definitely.
we've been through.
yeah.
So I
There's a-
definitely can see that, but we've been there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's,
man,
a,
we've been
there's a major breakdown in the transmission of information to our next generation. There's definitely a breakdown with that, and especially like this
Yeah.
that you're doing.
Yeah.
Me, I wish this for every home in a Jamaica with young men. Because
Yeah.
listen, believe me when me tell you, Queen, I don't have to help you through.
Oh, trust me, I know that. Trust me.
Because
We
when
just
a
have to
young
get
lady
we just have to get our younger generation of females to understand
to
that.
understand that if we if uno walk away from we when this happen, all it do is send us down the wrong road, and because of how we've been socialized as being men,
Yeah.
we bottle up some things and,
And just
move
keep it
on,
inside, yeah.
and then somebody's going to be the victim of that
Next
anger, that
victim.
Yeah.
rage.
Buckle up and go look for the next victim.
Uno have to help you through it because
Yeah, but here we know,
And
here
that's-
we know. We are gonna help you, but we can't tear we down in the process, and that's what a lot of men is doing.
That is true.
They're
That
not.
is-
We're building you guys up for you guys to tear us down. It can't happen like that. If it's
This
a
is
building
where
process, that has to go both ways.
This is where the empowerment of our young men absolutely necessary, because how they're being socialized and not being able to express emotion and truly tell
Yeah.
everyone how them feel,
Yeah.
and it breaking
I'm glad
apart
they said that.
certain little things that is happening with
We're
us.
glad they said that, because that is the reason why we come back to the original question. How would I feel if you were to go outside because of a disability that I have? As a man, I go tough up and say, hey man, you do your thing, I don't say it go right. But really and truly deep inside, I go feel a way about it. And I go say, but if I work alright then, because say as a man, you deal with certain things, you live a certain type of lifestyle, and know that you change and I try to be that person who you want, who your queen wants you to be, and who you wants to be as well, because you see that this is the way to go, and this is what brings you peace. See? So you have made this big transformation, and then because of some disability, you decide say physical needs.
Yeah, but because
I'm gonna make you break that vibration.
But because you
You
decide
understand
to
where
change
I
now,
come
that
from?
means say everything will go
Alright,
revolve
but
around
me
you.
just
No, it's
never
not
say
about
that.
revolving around me, because
just
if
never
you were
say
in the
that.
same situation, I would be of the thought that why not?
Why not?
But hold on, we have a thing where we have to live with more what we call retribution, where maybe we wise up when that happen, but we have to sit down and take like a beating before
Okay.
it firm up in it. If you
Okay.
understand what I say,
All the
because
beating up, yeah.
this a part of the beating process in the because era. We're emotional creatures. We were designed to go. This is why when I said to myself, yo, I'm not ball and rain, I say you have tear ducts, brother. So you mean in a ball.
Exactly.
You have to. It's
Exactly.
going to happen one day or the other. We suppress things. You have the conscious mind, you have the subconscious mind. We push things at the subconscious mind. but it coming like a glass where you full up. It must run over.
Yep.
And there are times when it will run over and there's nothing, you're helpless in terms of how you are responding to this flood now. But it have to come out. It might be in public, it might be a place where you never know, say, you just have a breakdown and cry and just because it have to come out.
Yeah.
And then we have to understand this. We have to understand, say, we're flawed. So how do we lean on each other? But understanding self is the first order of business.
True.
Truly understanding self, not who you would like to be, because there's something we did learn when we there said, when them tell you about a thing cause I think them call it a Jahira window or something like that. There is something about you that you know that nobody else knows. That's a black secret. There's something about you that you know that other people know that is like public knowledge. But there's also something about you that you don't know what other people know. Other people are you know. And see certain attitude about you where one out of two things. You see that them bluntly will come to you, come tell you, and you feel a way about it because it's not socially acceptable to you, or your friend them afraid to say it to you because them think you're going to feel a way. Because it's not something that just come to you and say, you know, say you're miserable and you're rare. I might want to say to you, say, you know, say you're promiscuous and you look like you're going to love enough man and you might want to lose it, but maybe that's the thing you need to stop and think about and say, for some mistake. Admission is the
You need
first
to change that.
thing
Gotta
for
be-
me,
you gotta
to
accept.
put you on the road to
Yeah,
change.
definitely.
You have to admit.
Definitely true.
Yeah, man,
Definitely.
really up full vibration. A great,
Respect, brother.
Give
great
thanks.
conversation.
Yeah, man. Blessed.
I appreciate it. Man, I like,
Blessed.
Next
They
time we
say some
definitely have to
things-
get Shelly in here on this.
Yeah, yeah.
they touch upon some points where we're going to discuss even further after
Yeah,
this.
man. Yeah, man.
Because
And
I
it's,
just saw the
encourage-
thing go.
it's important for us to be able to put this forward for the younger generation.
Yeah, and people
Even
in
for
general
our
to
age,
see.
for everyone to
Yeah.
understand that, you know, we go through things in life, but at the end of the day, people might make mistakes, but a second chance should be given. Sometime a third, depending on how you feel.
And
Yeah.
a fourth and a
But-
fifth and a sixth
How will you say?
until the foundation built.
Okay, yeah, me dog. Tap it to your
She
master.
go yabbing. You go yabbing.
Him got 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, man.
But we definitely want to just to continue to promote this, you know, in our community, in our, you know, our culture, because it's something that is shunned upon, it's something that's not really spoken
Yeah,
on.
man.
You know, we definitely do need our men within our households. We do need them as fathers. We do need them as, you know, providers, as just support system, you know, for us black women to just continue to make things better, to make life better, to make our children better.
Yeah.
And women, just easy with the argument and all of that. You know, toxicity in women is something that most women are born with, I would say, because some women are just toxic no matter what happens in their life, good or bad. They're just toxic. So we just want to show you that at the end of the day, no matter what you're going through, you can always overcome it with communication, trust, and honesty, I would say.
Yeah.
We thank Orville for, you know, blessing
Blessed
us
love,
with
man.
all these gems that
Respect.
he's just dropping on us.
Yeah, man.
You know,
For real.
thank you so much for being a guest, and we really,
Blessed.
really appreciate you being here. That's it for us on this episode of Music and Marriage. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, and comment on this and other episodes. We are available everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify,
Everywhere.
Anchor FM, anywhere podcast is available. You can check us out. Thank you guys again for joining us on another episode of Music and Marriage. My name is Nikita. I am your host, and this is my co-host.
I'm like Red Spear.
And
I'm a great
Orville
guest.
Expressionz. Thank you for having me. Blessed love.
thank you guys for joining us.
Rastafari.
We're all good people.
Touchdown! 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 Touchdown!